Yes, good evening, everybody. Welcome to Pop Culture Festival 2023. I welcome you to the panel discussion, African Women in the Music Industry. I have next to me Ria Boss from Ghana. And then I have a very spontaneous panel guest, Tania, who just I just asked, do you want to join? And I also invited her to play at Pop Culture Festival. And she just said yes. I'm like, do you know what this is? And she was asking me, what is the topic again, Pam? Because I just love it that she just said yes. Yeah, our third artist, musician, Faith is not here yet. I hope she will join us. But I thought it's the time to start, actually. So, yes. Maybe a few words just about me. Yes, my name is Pamela Owusu-Brenya. I'm a music consultant. I started to work in the music industry as a DJ. Then I started a festival. And since a few years, I work mainly as a curator. I'm, since 3 years, the co-curator of Pop Culture Festival. And yes, maybe a little bit about my, I would say, expertise, or also my, Schwerpunkte in my curation. I would say for me it's very important to open stages for people who look like us, like me, and have the same history, same story. I'm also very passionate about women, more visibility of women in the music industry. And maybe I start to introduce Ria. This is now for me a little bit easier. I met Ria in 2021. She is one of the protagonists of my documentary, Women in Music Ghana. You are part of Black Girls Glow. You know, I don't even know how I get to know about you, but I was in Ghana. I was doing some research, like who are doing interesting stuff for women in the music industry in Ghana. And then someone told me, you definitely have to talk to Black Girls Glow. And she's one of the, I would say, I don't used to say founders, but it's like founding members, yeah. You're a collective of women who every year do like a residency program focusing on making space for women. Yes, you're Ghanaian and Burkinabe. Yeah, Burkinabe. Yeah, French. And you were born in London, moved to Ghana as a child. You lived a few years in Ghana as a child, but then I think in your teenager years you went to New York, and then also to LA, and then back to Ghana. I don't know when this was. When was that?
Went back to Ghana 2017.
2017. Mm-hmm. You were she's an amazing artist. She's a soul artist who did not only have a lot to say about the topic in my documentary, but also like she's a really talented and really, I would say, really strong artist in the music industry in Ghana. And yeah, you're doing music since you're a child. You started with piano. I read that I
haven't been practicing though. So.
That you were quite shy as a child, and then only when you went back to the States, that's when you kind of this music persona came out again of you, and you were more, I would say, you were more eager to be on stage. But before, you decided more to be more in the quiet and sing for yourself and for your family. But I still feel you are a soul artist, but you still have like experimental attempts in your music, and you're trying to do things or music a bit outside of the box. Yes, I think this is what I start to say about you. We will get more into that. And now Tania, I have to say, I'm trying my best. Tania is an amazing artist. I got to know her from Berlin. You were born in Germany? No, you were born in Cameroon. Your parents are half, your mom is German, your dad was from Cameroon, you grew up in Cameroon. And then, I don't know, I think when you went to high school, then you came back to Germany actually, no?
So I was born in Cameroon, and I came only to Germany when I was 19 for university.
Okay, cool. And then I think you lived in Berlin, you also studied, and you were part of a group that did music here in Berlin. I know I saw a show of you a long time ago. I mean, we don't have to say the name anymore, but yeah, maybe if you want to share.
music is really all I've known. I was part of many groups. I mean, it's either church. I was either in church, in the church choir, or I formed my own choir of like 20 girls. And I used to work at restaurants, and then they would always say, die zingen en kinderen.
Singing the caterer.
Singing and kinderen. You know when you have your birthday and they're like, come on, sing. I would be the one singing, and then at some point I was part of a Mexican group. There was 3 guys, and I was just always attracted to anything that would get me to express myself. So yes.
And then there was a time, I remember you were fed up of the scene, of the German music scene, because I think the way that you wanted to evolve, it was very difficult for you to do it here in Berlin. It was very narrow. There was a little space for a certain kind of music that you could do. And so you decided actually to pack your bags and you went to Ghana.
That's what I did.
Yes. And since you're in Ghana, I think, now since a few years, you're mainly based in Ghana, but you're also a lot here, and also, in Paris or in Cameroon. Yeah, a lot of things has happened since you actually moved to Ghana, and yeah, we will come to that also. Maybe a little bit why I decided to do this talk. Yes, of course, I did that documentary, and the documentary was actually inspired about the idea of my thoughts, because there was on the one hand, there was my Spotify playlist, because I had so much female voices in my Spotify playlist. The ones that I create myself, I was always like, there's so many great female artists from the African continent, but why does no one know about them? Why are they not also represented in all these official Apple, Spotify playlists? There was only, like, in these African Heat playlists, there were, I don't know, maybe one, two female artists. Yes. We invite Faith to the stage. This is your stage. You're here to... Yes. It's good to have you here. Thank you. Straight from Nigeria, kind of. Few hours. First time in Germany also, yeah?
Yeah, first time.
Cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, maybe also I do a small introduction before we go on. I think you came to the right time, actually. So cool. So yeah, I'm super happy to have you here, Faith. You're a Nigerian singer and songwriter. You're the winner of the Nigerian Music Award Haddies. I think this was in the States. You're an independent artist. You have your own label, if I'm not wrong. You have a small team who does your booking, you do your promotion, you do everything by yourself, basically. You're really an independent artist, which is for me like, wow. And yes, you also started making music since you were a child. I think you started singing at church. And I would say, but maybe we go to that later. There's more about you to say. But thank you for being here, and we're happy to have you. Cool. So, yes, why I was inspired to do this talk, yes, my documentary, and as I said, like in my playlist, there were so many great women, and I always felt like, why are they not represented out there? Why do not people know about them? So I went to Ghana, and I tried to like get at the bottom of that. I was like, let me talk to a few people, find out what is actually happening on the Ghanaian crowd. Like, why is it that there are not so many women who are visible? There are women who make music, but often they are not so visible. There's not so much space for them. And also then on the other hand, of course, I've seen all these kind of, documentaries about Wizkid and Burna Boy, and I was like, why are they only given like these portraits to men and not to the female artists out there? So yeah, that was the inspiration to my documentary, and that's also where I met you. And then this was in 2021, and in 2021 it was super difficult because we had COVID. I couldn't bring artists here. Because I showed my documentary and I wanted to have like a panel like this, but I couldn't invite anyone from the continent because it was very difficult. And last year too was also not really happening. But then this year, when I did my booking, and I knew Ria will be here because she's doing the residency. I booked Tania, I booked Faith, and it worked out. I booked Shomet Josie, and I was like, wow, like this is the chance for me to bring women here to pop culture on stage and like actually talk about how it is to be in that African music industry. What I also want to share is, I also want to say is that we're not here to talk about all the problems only, because of course that it's super important, but I also feel like because these women get so less space, it's important for me to get to know them, to get to know their stories. I want to give them the stage to like talk about the things that they want to talk, and I want them to, you get to know more about them. So it will be a mix, but it's mostly really about their story. So let's get into it. I think my first question would be really like, what inspired you to do music? Why did you start making music? Like, what was the journey into music? Who would love to start? Do we have another mic? No? But then you two have to share, and you two. Oh, you have one? Perfect. Who would like to start? I would say, Faith, we give you the stage. What inspired you to go that, dusty road, becoming an artist?
Okay. Hi, everyone. My name is Faith. I guess I just love doing music. That's always my response, because I feel like if you love doing something, you feel sad if you don't do it or if you're not allowed to do it. So I had to fight to do music, because I started doing music at a young age. I think officially, I went into music at a young age when I was in school. I'm still in school. So it's kind of hard for, I think, African parents to let you chase your dreams. Yeah, especially when you're in school. So I just love doing music, so I feel like I had to do music. So music is kind of like my inspiration, let me put it that way. Yeah, so I intend to do music for life. So that's where I find my inspiration.
Cool, thank you. Yeah, you too. What inspired you to do music?
Okay, this is a hard question to answer, because I feel like for all of us who relate to the inspiration being music, you feel like you came out the womb and you kind of knew that this is what you wanted to do. Like my mom says, like the first thing I sang was Twinkle Twinkle Little Star. I didn't even really say mom and things. I was focused on music. But I'm fortunate that I also have a mother who put me in piano lessons, choir, ballet, all types of creative endeavors. And I think I found that the connection I had was more to melody, to sound, to writing. And so for me, I think very much like Fave, there was really no other way for me. But I think, like you were saying in the intro, I was very shy. And so to think of a career in music actually wasn't something I thought would be my life. But I think as confidence grows, as you grow, the confidence came. But music has always been. Yeah. I don't remember a time before that.
Yes, Tania.
I did not always have the belief that I could make music like on that level, honestly. I really struggled with seeing that clear vision. But somehow in me, music was always there, and that was my form of expression, right? I would always gravitate towards like a choir in church or a group of girls. Even in school, in high school, after classes, there was a thing where the people that could sing would gather in one corner of the class. Or like during break, going to another class, and I would always find myself with the people singing. And I think it's when I made the decision to professionally pursue music, that's when things genuinely started, like the universe just like, it was just flowing in my favor, and I just stayed there, if that makes sense.
That makes sense. I mean, Faith, you already touched on that a little bit, because I know how African parents are, I mean, they are like, you want to make art? Like, what is art? Basically, They're like, no, you have to be a doctor, you have to be a lawyer, an architect. And I mean, it comes from, like, they want you to be safe, because, for many people are struggling on the African continent, and it's not easy if you don't have something that really gives you the opportunity to take care of your family or even survive by yourself, even if you want to be independent, you know. To make money is so difficult. So making a hobby as your profession for a lot of people is like, no, you can't. You have to fight your parents. So yeah, for me, was it like when you decided to and you told your parents, like, you know what, that's what I want to do, like, were they supportive? How did that go?
My mother, growing up, she was in a band. She was the lead singer and a guitar player for a band called Woman 7. And when she was like getting
That's so
ready,
cool.
I'm telling you, the woman is cool. Don't tell her I said that, by the way. But she tells me the story of they went to go and play at this place called Baden Powell Hall. And she went to go and tell my grandfather, her father, that somebody has come and they're saying they want us to go on tour. And my grandfather was like, no, you are going to law school. And her dream was deferred. And so I think when I went to my mom and I said to her, this is what I want to do professionally, the part of her that supports me is the part of her that wanted to go on tour. But she still did say, you need a backup. And so the emphasis was on making sure that I had the highest education such that no matter what I decide to do, I would always have a backup. I mean, I complained the whole way through and honestly even had to extend university 1 extra year because I was complaining. But I can understand that, right? I can understand that fear of, you know, my child wants to do this very scary job that sometimes is very uncertain with regards to even financials, right? It's really a dream. You're really chasing a dream. But in terms of support, it was there. But I think like many parents, there was, you need a backup. Well, I have the backup and I'm here now, so you know what I mean?
Yeah, Tania, maybe you share a little bit about your experience as a child.
My father said no. He said, you're gonna get a degree. And I think with me, he was like, this one is stubborn. Like, this one is stubborn. I need to be on her. Like, she has to get a degree, da-da-da. And when, like, I did not get the degree and I did not, like, do any of it, he was like, you know what, just, at this point, just do what you want to do. And he just made me kind of, in a way, make a promise to just really dedicate myself to whatever I choose to do, which was music at the time, and still is music. So it's kind of like very subtle, silent promise that's just hanging in the air every time, and also a way, like a motivation to me, like, can't let this man down. But it had to get to the point where nothing was working for him to say, you know what, I give up, do your thing. But, you know, like Faith said, it was a fight. Like, you had to box your way through it to get to the point where you can hold the mic and have your parents' blessings, you know. It's truly priceless.
Yeah, I think Faith, you said already. Or do you want to add something, or you're good to the question?
Very much, just to reiterate what my girl said, man, it's the fight. I feel like I'm happy to know that I did not stop fighting. Because I feel like I'm an inspiration to my brothers, an inspiration to my friends too. Because sometimes when we talk about stuff and they're like, they want to do stuff, or their parents are like this and that, and then we talk and you're like, how did you even do it? Like, and I tell them the story, I'm like, the stories are there. If I tell you people the things I had to do to make my parents understand, and still I feel like they're still not very certain about it. But they see me making waves, so they're like, okay, you know, at least you're happy, you know, what you're doing is working, you know, just make sure you are doing it in the Lord. That's it for them. Yeah, so I'm just grateful, that's it. It's a fight, it's a struggle, because a lot of parents see music as a hobby. So they see it as something you just like doing. You know, you go to church on Sundays, you sing in the church, you praise God, you sing songs every day, you write music, it's a hobby, something you like, but is this really something that you can make a living from? Yeah, it is something you can make a living from.
Amen, yes.
I mean, things have definitely changed also for women in that regard. Maybe also what you three have in common is you are all independent artists. You have your... you all have a small team around you that you work with for years, and then you kind of support each other. It's with all of you.
I have to say though, sorry to cut you short, but I just got signed.
That's okay.
I don't want it to be like, because it's definitely a thing of pride when an independent artist is making waves. So I like to carry it on my head like independent artist, and I want you to see me like that way. Congrats. But I just got signed, like last month. Thank you. It's been a race. Yeah, but still independent.
I mean, your hits, you know, she had Baby Rhythm, which was a hit. I think you were #1 in 9 countries. And you did that by yourself, like independent. So, you know,
That's mad.
So, yeah. So, yeah. But yeah, still maybe talking about the independency.
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Like, why did you decide to go independent? Why did you decide to work with a small team? Often it's friends around you, you know, that you trust and that you want to do music. Why did you decide to go that way? Because, I mean, of course, it's a dream. I mean, it changed, you know, but I mean, there's still, especially in the African continent, there's also the dream that like a big label comes and signs you and you go to Europe and then, you know, play everywhere around the world. But yeah, I mean, also the thing is in Ghana or Nigeria, there is not really an industry. There are no fundings for artists. You have to do everything by yourself. There is not this whole structure that we have here already in Germany or Europe.
Debt, serious debt.
So that is like, it's a full-time job, you know, being independent. So what was why did you make that decision? And yeah, what is like the advantage? But now also you get signed, maybe what is the disadvantage so that you decided, you know, let me get signed? Or who would like to start?
Ria.
Hey, wow. I don't know if it's chose to be independent more as the independent life chose me. Yeah, that's number one. Yeah. and number two, I've been very used to doing things on my own, and the team that I have currently is one that we had to get to know each other over time. And initially, I mean, not to make things negative, but initially when I started doing music, even though there were people that would come and want to work with me, sometimes it came at the price of my individuality and my identity. Sometimes it would come at the price of the type of music I want to make or the kind of impact or the message that I want to put forth. And so in that regard, I chose myself. And I think choosing myself has been the greatest reward to me because it's afforded me the ability to be a member of Black Girls Glow and to be able to create platforms for other women such that they can have support and they are able to collaborate and now be on stages and perform, you know. It's given me the opportunity to also hone my craft and know exactly who I am as an artist. Now, would I want to get signed now? Perhaps, but I think I would be well-versed in knowing how and the terms and what would work for me. But I feel like if I decided I wanted to get signed like, I don't know, 8 years ago, I don't think this Ria Boss would exist. And I feel like this Ria Boss is the best iteration of Ria Boss because of the independent struggles and you know, I was joking, I'm saying, you know, I'm in debt, but the truth is, sometimes you are in debt as an independent artist because all the money you make goes back into your craft. And so it's not like I see other artists, you know, with the big budgets and, you know, the comfortable living situations and, you know, the entire teams around them helping them do so many things. And it's helpful. It would be helpful to be able to just focus on the creative and have other people working. But now I also have an entire education as a music manager or even as a sound engineer, or now I know more about the back end of the industry, also because I went to school for it as well. So it's like I can be my own mogul at this point. And so I think it's not to bash being signed because I also feel like it affords us an opportunity to really relax also, you know. But I think being independent has taught us to hustle. And that hustle quality is what I think has brought us to this point.
Yes.
Yeah. I agree to a lot of what Ria said, and in my case, it was I just needed some quiet to understand who Tania is. I have so many different influences. I speak different languages. I'm connected to like so many different cultures. I've lived in different places. So there's so much happening in my head. And sometimes the pressure would make you have to box yourself into a certain space. And I was just at a point where I wanted to discover more of who I am, what do I like, what do I want to talk about, who is my audience, what do I want to represent, what's my message, and all that kind of stuff. So I didn't choose the independent life. I think I was just selfish at that point. I was like, you know what, I want to do me and I want to understand who I am. And if I were to get signed now, I would definitely be walking into that space with more knowledge and more confidence, because now I truly know who I am and I can deal with all the pressure, all the noise, and I'm not gonna feel forced to like be boxed into a certain space. I'm gonna walk in there with, in Ghana I say more vim now. Yeah.
Faith, do you want to add something?
She signed.
But she wasn't a month ago, so.
Yeah, man. It's really something being an independent artist. I think you learn a lot, you grow, you think that today you know so much and you are so equipped and you're very talented. You're the most talented person in the world, and then a month from then, or 2 months, or a year, you are way better than you were back then. So it's like if you had gotten signed 2 years back, it's different from when you're getting signed now. Because even labels will tell you, they tell you when maybe if they're just discovering you. Because when labels discover you, it's different from when the world discovers you. And then the label is just like, I don't know, part of the world. They're just like humping on the ride because you're 8 years. So it's like, they tell you, they're like, we are going to build you. We are going to make you. We're going to do this. We're going to mold you and stuff like that. But when you become your own person, they are just adding to you. So I feel like I have worked the work. And I guess it's I guess now that I'm signed, I feel like it's just God's timing. Because Baby Redeem happening and, you know, me dropping an EP, I've seen like the work you need to put in as an independent artist. Like, I feel like a lot of independent artists, they're dealing with a lot of mental stuff. You know, people don't really talk about it because it's like, who is going to listen to my song? I put how much money into the song? I have to make my parents understand that this is working, you know, like, you have to have motivation. You have to have encouragement to even put out the next one. So it's a lot, man. Big ups to us, for real. Big ups to us. That's just, if you have friends that are independent artists, just pray for them, check up on them.
Or just go to their shows when they post about their
shows,
shows.
yeah.
Buy their
Support them.
merch, you
Support
know.
them.
Share. Quote it. Don't just like it.
Yeah.
Share it.
Because we are doing all our stuff ourselves. We're probably editing our videos ourselves. We are mixing our songs. Like Rhea said, you have to learn how the music industry works, because no one is doing it for you. You have to learn how to probably promote your own songs. You have to learn how to connect with people. You have to learn how to...
Even when you don't feel like...
Exactly. Like, you...
And it's also, I mean, you're coming from the biggest music market on the continent. I mean, you come from Nigeria.
Very
you know,
competitive.
This is a different thing. You know, music comes out every second. You know, how do you want to shine out in that masses?
Exactly.
You know, so, I mean, the competition in Nigeria, I think, is crazy, you know? So, yeah.
And I guess I can also add, like, and also on the independent journey, we make a lot of mistakes too, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, you might make more mistakes than you might make with, let's say, if you have a machine that's helping you. But I also think that those mistakes are what make us, because then we learn, we get better, we evolve. And so I actually really appreciate the journey, because I think it teaches us how to be more of ourselves. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, I still did this documentary, and I'm still interested in a few insights. And I would love to know from you what have been the hardest hurdles that you face in the music industry? I mean, in artists, as an artist in general, but also like as women in the music industry. Like, what are the things that you know you are dealing with and men don't have to deal with? Hard facts now, Tania. I mean, Ria, you have a lot to say about that, and I.
Wow. You were saying what problems do we face? Men. And that's not to be divisive, because also I think that men also in the industry have also afforded us a lot of empowerment as well. So that's not to say that, but we can't
Double
just
standards.
but we can't also sit here and say that patriarchy hasn't built the world.
Double standards.
And so especially when, for example, with Ghana, when you're dealing in a society that's already, if you're not married, they're looking at you like, you already are dealing with kind of like an archaic kind of thinking, right? But I don't think that it's still that way. And I also say that from a position of privilege as somebody that works with women now, as somebody that also works with an organization that's for the empowerment of women creatives. So yeah, we face a lot of problems, but I think, like we said in the documentary, if you don't, want me at the table, I'll build my own. I'll build a house. I'll build a boat.
Own table.
I'll build whatever I have to build. I literally don't have to sit with you.
And then you also said you opened the doors for the other girls
and
to
I
follow
open
in.
Exactly, because if we don't, who will? And I think sometimes the burden of having to be the first, right, to sort of be not aggressive, but to really point out what the issues are, can sometimes hurt you in particular industries. But I think if we don't talk about it, if we don't say that, hey, I'm going to this session and this guy's being super inappropriate, but everyone knows he's inappropriate, but no one's talking about it in public, because they're afraid that if they do, they might get blacklisted, or they won't get on that lineup, or maybe they won't get booked again because another woman will do it. And that's not to even shame that other woman. It's also to say that that's the problem, is that where you won't, somebody is also as hungry as you who might just. And that doesn't speak badly of her, but it also speaks about the industry itself. And so those have been issues, but I think that a lot of us are now saying, okay, well, where the issue is, let's create the solution.
Yeah, thank you so much.
I just want to say that there is so much space for so many women, and the world just needs to just let us breathe. Honestly, there cannot only be one woman at the top. Like, it's so unrealistic. And that's why I also appreciate panels like this. I also appreciate, like, so many women, like, being as loud as they possibly can. I'm learning through the whole process as well. I don't know if you guys experience this thing, like, sometimes you would be somewhere and then you would say no to something, and they don't only close the door on you, they close the whole whole building. And you have to go all the way around. Yeah. And sometimes it takes so much strength, and you need to pick yourself up when somebody could have just opened the door, even if you say no. And it's tiring, and it needs to stop. And it's also about learning. I'm learning how to speak up more. I'm learning how to connect with other women in the business more, because that is also a situation where everybody's kind of like, in their corner, or trying to like shield themselves, or trying to focus on their own journey, because there is also so much noise. And dumbing down the noise can be such a challenge. I don't know, how do you feel as your experience as a woman in the business? This is how we feel in Ghana, right? This is what happened. Globally, actually, not just Ghana.
Yes, absolutely.
Well, I think everyone would attest to the fact that sometimes you see on social media where when they talk about artists, they put a lot of guys on the list, but they probably just put one female. And it's like, oh yeah, top artists. And it's like you just have one spot for a female. And when you think that, oh, she's no longer what you feel like she is, you just pick another female and you put her right there and you bring the other one down. It's a bit weird. Like, the world is rigged against women. Yeah, I feel like we already know that. we just have to keep fighting. Like, that's just it. Yeah, we just have to make sure that we are doing what people can close their eyes to. Like, you can't say you cannot notice us because we are right in your face. And the only way we can do that is being extraordinary at the things that we are stupendously good at. So me, I'm not even worried at all. I'm not worried for myself. I'm not worried for my women, because I know that, like, our fire is going to eventually breathe through every obstacle, like whatever it is. If you feel like you're only going to give the top spots to one woman, I'm sorry, but when there's too many top women, you would not have any other choice. So we just have to keep putting on the fight, man.
I would love to know, it was super interesting when I did that documentary and I was talking to a lot of people just to first understand the atmosphere and to understand what is happening actually. I mean, it was mostly in Accra too. And there's a fine line. There's this line where there are also a lot of men. I mean, my documentary, I have to be very honest, would have not been the documentary it is if men wouldn't have opened the doors for me. So you have this side where there's this dependency on men because they hold that position, they have the venue, they have the financial means, to put up shows, they have the connections. Also, they have been working, they have the experience because they have been working in the music in Ghana for a long time, So sometimes it was like for me, and even to talk to an artist, to a female artist, I first had to talk to the manager. And the manager kind of decided if he opens the door for me to talk to that woman or not. And through my documentary, I have to say I had a lot of men who supported me, whysoever, But so there's always this fine line. Somehow you need them, somehow you have to work together, and somehow you just have to find those people that you kind of support. Because I know that your team, your manager, I mean, they're also male, your manager, here, soft as male, So it's like, but I would love to know in Nigeria, because in Ghana, we have this Black Girls Close. There's more and more, I feel like, a discourse happening. I think also in the past 2 years, there has been a change, that women are talking more, women are coming more together. How is that in Nigeria? Is there also a collective, like a women collective who came together like to support each other? Are you talking about, do people even talk about these topics? Or is it like something that is not addressed in the society or in the music industry?
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria, yeah.
Well, I wouldn't say I've heard of any women collective in Nigeria to speak on the, problem that women face in the industry. But I would say that we identify it as an issue. We definitely see it as a problem because we are all affected by it. So it's, maybe one day. Yeah, but I mean, it starts from something like this. Before you know it, you're taking it to Nigeria. I mean, it's an African problem. Like it's a global problem. Yeah. So it's not just in our individual countries. It's not just in our individual
I think
countries.
like worldwide, I mean, I don't know if Africa was included, but it's like almost like 14% of women represented on stages, on festival stages, so it's the numbers like 1.4% worldwide is represented by women. So this is like, the number is very low, and it's increasing little to little, but hope is always there. We are coming, time is running, and now I'm thinking, what is like with Rhea Boss, I have to say, like, I've followed you the past, I was then 21 with the documentary, I was 23 middle. I was there in July, actually, And I think a lot of things has happened since I was there. Like, this woman, she's running the city. You are doing... You are doing so much stuff. You have so many events. You invite women. And I remember reading that sentence that you said at that documentary. If they don't give us the share, if they don't invite us, we do it ourselves. And you literally meant it. So, like what happened the past 2 years? Like, what was the switch? And, I would love to,
I talk about Black Girls Glow all day till I'm blue in the face, but really, I think having an initiative like that really supports women. Also, what we do is we have a residency program every year for women, and actually since last year, we've now been inviting one fellow from Berlin, and then we send a fellow here. So I'm actually the fellow that is here from Accra for the co-tandem residency. And it's because now we are being recognized also as a space for women, that creatives that can come, that can hone their crafts, and that can then have something to really help them when they want to enter the industry. For me, I just wanted to kick the door down. I was kind of tired, you know, and I think creating events, I do an open mic event every month in Accra, and my rule is that we have to have more women than men on the bill, period. And I think that, and we have a lot of women artists in Accra, a lot. Yeah. I mean, more than I can count. But if you ask anyone who those artists are, they might only name maybe a few.
You even get the songs mixed up with the artists.
You get, so, and they might even not even know what you look like, Seth, like that part, you know. And so I think creating avenues for women, for me, is because I needed that, you know. I've been putting out music for the better part of like 10 years, you know, and I still had people in my own industry that literally don't know who I am, you know, or act like they don't, you know, because maybe, you know, you've angered them with your boisterousness. But I don't know, I sing and write also empowering songs for women. I feel like in my lived experience, I also have to create space. And so in the last 2 years, what you've seen is somebody who has finally come into themselves and realizes that I want to create avenues for more women. And so these open mics and our Black Girls Glow events, these are all avenues to making sure that other women can also come and join this stage next year. You know, it's not just about me.
Yes.
But you know, if I may add, yeah, I feel like, I don't know, but I feel like something is happening currently, you know, when we're talking about this wave right now, especially when we're talking about women, and even generally artists, or let me just say, women are getting smarter, women are getting more bold. We all have different sounds. And we are like really breaking down individually doors in our own lanes. So hopefully, like in the future, people have no choice but to give us that big audience. And so I really want to commend like anybody out there genuinely doing their thing, going all the way right, even if everyone else is going left. And in case you're not noticing it, is really making a difference. And so I just wanted to like give a shout out to any indie signed female artists just like doing their own thing and creating their own universe and sharing to the world. Yeah.
Faith, do you want to say something? Otherwise, I would kind of let the audience.
We can let the audience.
Are you sure? Yeah. But I still want to add something. I mean, we now have more talked about binarities, like women and men, and of course there's more. There are non-binaries, there are trans. But this is we are not talking about this here because this is a whole big topic on the African continent. You know, it's not something that is easily to have in a discussion like this because there happens a huge injustices, and it's a big topic, you know. But we see you, you know, we hear you, and you are in our hearts. So that's just what I wanted to add. And yes, so before I open the stage, I want you, because I think that's also, women need to support women. We want to know you. We want to know from you. Give us like 2 artists that you feel like people should check out, are from Accra or from like where you like, they are cool. You need to check them out on Instagram. On
2 is such a small number.
Or okay. 3, if you want. But yeah, okay. Fire.
Okay, I'll choose one from, let me say, my year group. Let me not date myself. Poetra Santoa, obviously, who
was also the resident for last year.
Who's also an amazing poet, singer, founder, and then Baba J, who is an Afro indie artist who is amazing. Also, if I don't mention your name and you're watching the stream, I still love you. I beg you. Oh, yes. And then I guess 3rd artist I would mention. Wow. Annabelle Rose, who was also a Black Girls Glow fellow.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tinia.
I would like, if you don't know Charlotte Dipanda, please check out Charlotte Dipanda. And please check out Ria Boss. I really, yeah.
Faith, who do you want us to check out from the Nigerian scene? You're based in Lagos? Yes.
Yeah. Okay, let me give a shout out to my Nigerian girls. King Madi. King Madi is super dope. Bloody Civilian is also super dope. Naya Akanji. If you don't know Naya Akanji, I think you should check her out because she kanji. Yeah. Oh, I think you should also check out Shime. Shime is really good. Shime, if you watch this video, I want you to know that you should start putting out your music professionally more and more because you're amazing, yeah.
Thank you so much. And of course, check out the Rhea Boss, Tania, and Faith. And concerts-wise, Rhea Boss, you're performing tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow,
the time?
7 p.m. at Franz Garten.
Franz Garten.
Yeah.
Check her out. Tania's show was today, so you missed that, or maybe you didn't miss her. And then we have Faith. You're performing tomorrow at Castle House. The time is it 10:50? No.
It's 10:50.
Yeah, for 1 hour or like 45 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
So it's her. Then the last one is Stromae Josie. So yeah, you're the second last. Yes, and if you have any questions, I think we can have like 2 or 3 questions. But yeah, or do you feel like, I mean, there's so much to talk about, but don't be shy. You have the chance to talk like to the creme de la creme that is also performing here. So if there's anything you want to know from them, yes, please. Do we have a mic or should I do it? The mic is coming.
Hi.
Hi.
I'm Lou. Hi.
Hi.
Meow. I just wanted to ask what the next projects are. I think we've heard a lot about what you've done, and I thought, why not ask about what's next?
I will be putting out my second EP in, hopefully, God willing, the next couple of weeks. I put out an EP called In Her Feelings, and my next project is called In Her Thoughts, and it's going to be 8 songs of my crazy thoughts. So
Can you describe a little bit your sound for those maybe?
So it's a mix of zouk, neo soul, Afro, hip hop, R&B. Does that make sense?
It's really
Yes.
good.
Ooh, you have to check that out.
I sing in English, French, and Pidgin, and I just vibe, with my thoughts. So if you want to get into my head, then you
Listen
would
to her.
very soon. Oh yeah, I kind of rap and sing a little bit
Kinda.
too, girl. So yeah, that's what's coming next for me. I'm super excited to put that out. This is the first time I'm a bit bolder with my songwriting. I'm taking more risks. I'm doing things that I'm afraid to do, and it feels really good. And I can only recommend. So stick with me.
Faith. I mean, you're now signed. What is coming up next?
Well, I'm going to be putting out a single. Actually, 2 singles, so 2 in 1, because I haven't put out music at all this year. I've just been doing collaborations. It was not planned, but, life just goes how life goes. So now the year is about to end, and I feel like the people who really love listening to me deserve at least 2 songs, because the songs are there. We're always recording, but when it comes to putting out the songs, you have to do a lot of planning. You have to do a lot of thinking. Protocols, a lot of sleepless nights. But yeah, I'm putting out 2 singles. I feel like I should tell you September, but life goes how life goes. Yeah, my sound, I just sing whatever comes to my head. Music is too dope for me to just decide what genre of music I want to do. If I hear a beat that I've never heard before, that I don't know what's happening on the beat, and I'm just catching a vibe, I'm definitely going to do that. The 2 songs I'm going to be putting out, one is R&B drill. it's like a drill bit, but I was really singing my soul on it. So I don't think people would expect me to do a drill song at all. And the second one is definitely Afro Amapiano. So it's like two different sides of me, and I'm just so excited to push it out there and give people, so people could stop having this notion of me that, oh, you...
Will we hear one of the songs tomorrow, maybe, at your show?
Yes, most definitely. Ooh. Oh, yeah, thank you for asking.
Yes.
Yeah, I would be singing the R&B drill tomorrow. Please, it's going to be premiering. Come listen.
Yes, nice. Ria?
So in terms of style, I think I'm probably well known for being like more neo-soul R&B, but I think I fall in like the jazz and funk pocket, kind of bluesy as well. But I do have a rap alter ego, so, you know, hip-hop, happy birthday, hip-hop.
I feel like we all do at this point. Yeah.
In terms of projects, actually, one of the reasons I'm here doing the residency is I'm conceptualizing my next album. The working title currently is Heartbreak Hotel. I'm talking to, really it's an album based on heartbreak, but not necessarily romantic love, like you chop breakfast, that type of thing. No, more like how life has let you down. And I'm talking to a lot of different individuals about the times in their lives where they felt heartbroken. You know, people will tell you that they didn't get a job and that affected the rest of their lives, or, you know, somebody died, or, you know, they weren't able to get into that school. I mean, there's a lot of different ways that our hearts can be broken. And so I'm hoping to speak to enough people and then dedicate 15 songs on the album to each of those individuals and share their stories with safety and compassion. So hopefully sometime next year you'll be getting the date. It is not now. We're still in research and development, but I'm hoping at early next year, first quarter at least, something can be presented.
Thank you. I think we'll close the session with the one question, but I feel like I have to say that. I mean, last year I also had a panel talk on, I think, what was the name? It's a year ago. Something about independent artists. And then I also had 3 artists here, like Fucking Boys and Manifest and Poetra, actually. And I have to say, all my panels where I invite people from the continent are so nice. They feel so good to me. And that I also want to say it's like really joyful, like a joy to me to like have you sitting here listening to your stories, and also the joy that you bring, you know. And it's always like, it always feels like home when I talk to actually African artists.
Pam is really awesome.
Thank you, Pam.
Thank you.
So yeah, it's an honor to share the stage with you girls, because I'm a music lover and I love all the music. All the people that I invite, I love them. I listen to them at home. I have listened to all your songs so many times. So I'm always myself excited when I can bring the artist that I'm listening to. So yes, thank you so much for being here.
Thank you for having us.
And I wish you all the best in your career. Independent, not independent, doesn't matter. Push out the music. Get the money. So yeah, thank you so much for this awesome crowd. Thank you for listening. Thank you to listening really to their stories. It's so important to, you know, to just listen to them, and also tell your friends to check them out and follow them and listen to their music. So yeah, thank you so much for being here this late in the evening.